You've heard of hate watch. Content creators do hate watchers when their teams aren't playing. They like to talk about rivals and call it hate watch. Well, this is hate talk. Liverpool are out of the Champions League, but I still want to talk about the Champions League because it is still the biggest club competition in the world. It is still the biggest, for me, the biggest trophy to win. So I do want to talk about it. I want to talk about tonight's matches, tomorrow's matches. Although Liverpool are out and are going to go win a Premier League title, 20th title, by the way. I still want to talk about the Champions League and give my thoughts and opinions on the upcoming fixtures. And it is a hate talk. It is a hate watch because fuck these teams that are still in it. I'm going to start. I might start with tomorrow's games because tonight's got the big one in terms of Arsenal Real Madrid, the one that everyone's talking about. So I will start with tomorrow's games. We've got PSG, Aston Villa, the team that knocked us out, PSG, against Aston Villa, who we could have faced if we went through. Aston Villa are doing amazing in the league recently. Their form has massively picked up. Rashford has found his feet there. Asensio's brilliant buy. Marlon was a brilliant buy. I think they've just done brilliantly this season again. Emery doing the bits again, and he is a European master when it comes to European competitions. Won the Europa League so many times. Can he do it with Aston Villa? Can he do it at the biggest stage with Aston Villa against one of the best teams in the world currently? That's the question with Emery. Can he do it? If he can get a result away at Paris tomorrow night, then why can't he do it? It's going to be very, very difficult. We saw how good PSG were over both legs against us in the Champions League. And wow, they were sensational going forward. Their midfield was exceptional. I think at the back, they're quite suspect, but we didn't take advantage. I think we played really poor over both legs, really, to take advantage of that high line at the back. I think Aston Villa can get at PSG more than how we got at PSG. I'll be honest, and that's not saying Aston Villa are a better team. They're clearly not. We're top of the league. But in those two games, we didn't really take advantage of that high line they've got. I think with Rashford running behind, Watkins running behind, Rodgers can, come in from that 10 position. Bailey on the other side can run in from behind. I think they take a big advantage over PSG, and I think they can score against PSG, certainly threaten them, and that's what makes it for an interesting tie, a very, very interesting tie. I don't really usually back English teams in Champions League football. I don't really cheer on English teams because normally the English teams that are in the Champions League are Man City can't stand them, Man United certainly can't stand them, Chelsea can't stand them, Arsenal not too bothered about, but Aston Villa is a team that I wouldn't mind getting behind. I wouldn't mind getting behind in this Champions League. PSG, is it a more of a bitter thing because they knocked us out? I think I'm admiring what PSG are doing. I'll be honest, I'm admiring what PSG are doing because they've got rid of Mbappe, the big star. Neymar's gone, Messi's gone, players like that. They're starting to build a team now, which a lot of people have been saying to do for a long, long time. Forget these big stars, these big egos. Build a team, and it's exactly what they've done now. Dembele's been a star over there. Fatsa has come in and done brilliantly. Even like Doué on the bench is just sensational coming on the pitch. That midfield is a sensational midfield. It's a midfield I absolutely admire. Ruiz, Vitinha, and Neves is just a tactically, technically brilliant midfield, and it's such a nice midfield to watch. But I am certainly getting behind Aston Villa in this. It's nice to sit back and watch, but I can't stand being out of the competition. But it is nice to know that we have got a Premier League title to go win, and I can still enjoy the Champions League for what it is. If we weren't in the Premier League title race, or if we weren't in the Premier League, or if we're out of all competitions and we weren't winning anything, then right now the Champions League would be the awful watch for me. Awful watch, and I'm sure all Liverpool fans will be feeling that. But it is nice to watch from a neutral for once, while still succeeding elsewhere, if that makes sense. Like I said, if we was out of the Premier League title race and we're not going to win that, then I don't want to watch either fuckers. I don't want to watch any of them. But yeah, it is nice to watch from a neutral point of view and say, come on, Aston Villa, I want you to do well, maybe beat PSG. See how far you can go in this competition. See how far Emery really can go. Because Emery, for me, if Arne Slot continues this, I think obviously he goes further above in terms of managers in the Premier League. But right now, in terms of past experience and in terms of overall, I think obviously Pep Guardiola is the best manager in the league. I think Emery takes second place. I think Arne Slot will take over him. at some point because I think he's proven enough in this league now. He can go win multiple titles. But what Emery's done before in terms of what he's won in the Europa League and how good he's been, getting Aston Villa to a Champions League continuously, I think he absolutely deserves massive credit for the job he's done. And fair play. And he's actually doing well in Europe with Aston Villa. He's done sensational in Europe with Aston Villa this season. Did they come third or fourth in the end? I think Arsenal came third. They came up quite high. They got through in the top 8, so they automatically got through into the next round. And it's just nice to see. It's nice to see an underdog do that. And such a club like Aston Villa, who is really a massive club, just never really done it in recent years. Martin O'Neill years did it, with Ashley Young and James Milner back then, Gareth Barry. That was the best team I saw back then. But I think this Aston Villa team's a much well-rounded team and a much more threatening side in a competition like this. Would be nice to see them get through. However, my personal opinion on what is going to happen, I see PSG going through. I think that forward line in PSG is just too much. That midfield, especially as well, the way that midfield absolutely outplayed us. I can see them doing the same to Aston Villa. I can see Aston Villa getting goals. If I'm honest, I can even see Aston Villa getting a goal in Paris. But I think that PSG attacks too much power, too much pace, too much goals in them. I think it's going to be too much for Aston Villa. So I think PSG will go through. The other tie tomorrow night is Barcelona against Borussia Dortmund. Barcelona being at home in the first leg. It's a simple, I won't say simple, but I think it's Barcelona win. I think this one's a little bit, I think this is the one that's easiest to predict in the ties for me, including the PSG Aston Villa game. Because Dortmund, again, they've been on and off this season. They're not really firing all cylinders in the league. They are getting results from time to time, but they're not doing incredibly. Not the Dortmund of last season where they got to the final of Champions League. Barcelona are an absolute powerhouse this season. Rafinha's on fire, Yamal's on fire, Olmo's on fire, Lewandowski's on fire, Pedri's on fire. This team is a serious team and will be seen as now the favourites. Now Liverpool are out, Man City are out. These are the favourites for the competition. There's a big reason why, because they are absolutely sensational this season. Them and Real Madrid will be the ones that will be tipped to go to the final. It looks more than likely that is the case in terms of how our previous Champions Leagues have gone and how well they are doing in La Liga, both of them. It would be scripture to be set up for Real Madrid Barcelona finals. Very rare we get Real Madrid Barcelona finals. So I can't remember last. Have we ever had a Real Madrid Barcelona final? I can't remember one. Same time Barcelona's dominated, Real Madrid's not. Real Madrid dominates them, and it would be interesting to see a Barcelona Real Madrid final. Barcelona go through. I think they get the job done tomorrow night. I think they'll score 2 or 3 tomorrow night against Dortmund. I think Dortmund will push everything in the second leg, but I think it won't be enough. My tip is Barcelona going through in that one. Bayern Munich Inter Milan. This one is interesting indeed. Bayern Munich Inter Milan tonight. Wow, Bayern Munich again. They have been sensational at times, but then they've been very got at by certain teams. Leverkusen always gets a job over, and they're beaten the other week, but in Champions League. But there is a way to beat Bayern Munich, and I think if anyone can beat them, it would be Inter Milan. Inter Milan are a powerhouse and have been a powerhouse in Serie A for the last couple of years. Top of the league in Serie A again after Napoli starting the season very well. I think they've started to pick up form a little bit recently of Inter Milan. This is very interesting. This is very, very interesting. I think Bayern Munich obviously have got the better team on paper, but on paper doesn't work sometimes, especially in a cup competition like this. Sometimes you've got a big chance of beating the teams that are on paper better than you. I think it's quite similar to the Liverpool PSG one, where they're quite similar teams, and any one of them can go through. This one's a very, very interesting one. Bayern Munich did beat Inter Milan and away in 2022, so 3 years ago in this competition, in the group stages. But I think it's a different Inter Milan side now. Different Inter Milan side. I'd be very interested to see how Inter Milan set up, whether they go defensive or not. That is the question for me. How defensive they do go in this game. It is going to be an interesting game. I think there's a possible lineup once I was spotted to. Yeah, I think with Inter Milan they play three at the back usually, wing backs, very set up, quite defensive. It's sound. Inzaghi's doing a very very good job with Inter Milan, but the attack that Bayern Munich offer again, it could be too much for Inter Milan, and I'm thinking more personnel as well here. Harry Kane, give Harry Kane chances, he scores goals. It's as simple as that, and this is what. Will they double mark Harry Kane in that box? With also three centre backs, two wing backs. They've got to watch Harry Kane. I think is Musiala out? 1 second, Musiala's out, isn't he? I'm sure he is. So yeah, Musiala's out. Koeman's out. Upamecano's out. Neuer's out. Davis is out. That's a lot of injuries there. Dumfries is out for Inter Milan. Zielinski's out for Inter Milan as well. That's a big miss as well. But yeah, Musiala's the biggest miss, obviously. Obviously, is the massive miss Musiala for Bayern Munich. But Thomas Muller, experience, knows how, has been in these games many times. Can he really replace Musiala in terms of what Musiala brings? No. But again, what he does bring is experience. What he does bring is know how to come out of games like this. And I think his link up with Harry Kane is absolutely key tonight, especially the game being at home for Bayern Munich tonight. They've got to go win tonight. I think it's going to be hard to go to San Siro and get a result if they don't win tonight. Michael Olise and Sane are the two players to watch for me tonight in terms of breaking Inter Milan down. Those wing-back players, the wing-backs might go forward quite often and leave massive gaps, leaving your right centre-back and your left centre-back to push out wide. They've got big jobs, which Pavard obviously and Bastoni, the two players, have big jobs in stopping Sane and stopping Michael Olise. Michael Olise has been sensational since joining Bayern Munich. Absolutely sensational. Palace made an absolute star in that guy, and he's just got even better at Bayern Munich. I think Bayern Munich win tonight, and I think Inter Milan win at home as well. I'm gonna go Bayern Munich in extra time win in Italy in the second leg. That is what I'm going to go for. Right, the big one, and that is Arsenal against Real Madrid. And this is something I want to talk about, actually, because online, in terms of Liverpool, coming from a Liverpool fan's perspective, I see a lot of Liverpool fans hating on Arsenal fans and creating some sort of weird rivalry. I spoke about hooks on it, and where's this weird rivalry come from? Because I've not really had a rivalry with Arsenal ever, really. Not to the point of like Man City or Man United or Chelsea. I have a much more rivalry with them. I think it's been a fake rivalry online, and everyone seems to be cheering Real Madrid on. Nah, fuck Real Madrid. You think I'm cheering Real Madrid on? These pricks. We have, as Liverpool, we have more of a rivalry than Real Madrid than we have Arsenal. So don't let this get. I don't know where this fake rivalry has come from. Fuck Real Madrid. I'm on Real Madrid hate watch tonight. That's what I'm on. I can't stand Real Madrid. These fuckers take all our players. They're taking Trent. They beat us every time we're in the knockout stages. Also beat them in the group stage this time. But finals, they've cheated against us. They caught our masterclass. They're taking down Salah in 2018, I want to say. We won the Champions League in 2019. Yeah, 2018. Injuring Salah in the final. Fuck these pricks. You think I'm cheering on Real Madrid? Nah, fucking come on, Arsenal is what I have to say to that. I'm not really bothered who wins in terms of what affects a Liverpool, because it isn't going to affect a Liverpool at all. If Arsenal go through or Arsenal, it don't really affect the league. If Arsenal go through anyway, I think they're going to concentrate more so on the Champions League. So if there is any point if Liverpool somehow drop off and allow Arsenal to come back in it, I'd rather Arsenal be in the Champions League. But I don't want Real Madrid to go through at all. I can't stand Real Madrid. So any Liverpool fan out there creating this fake rivalry between Arsenal and cheering Real Madrid on against Arsenal, what the fuck are you on about? I can't stand Real Madrid. Fuck Real Madrid. Arsenal can go out of the next round to PSG or Aston Villa if you want it to be that way. But nah, I'm not getting behind Real Madrid's back at all. I'm cheering on Arsenal tonight. And do I think Arsenal can get a result? Absolutely. I think what was a major issue is Gabriel getting injured. That's where it's a big issue because he's absolutely sensational, and he's been Arsenal's probably one of Arsenal's best players this season. A very stubborn defence, and that's where I think they could get Real Madrid. Is how stubborn in defence they are. Real Madrid have got world beaters all over the pitch, but I think Arsenal can beat them. I do, and that's not being like just because I've got a couple of friends that are Arsenal fans and stuff. I'll be honest with you, Arsenal are a very decent side. It's just they haven't really got much creativity or much going forward. They're very stubborn, tactically set up brilliantly in terms of defence and keeping teams out. If they improve their attack and certainly their creativity, or if someone like Saka comes back, which helps massively, Odegaard steps up. Odegaard's got a massive job tonight. I think Declan Rice has got a big job tonight. But I think Odegaard has a lot of weight on his shoulders in terms of creating. Without Saka, he's had to do it by himself, and he's sort of not risen to the occasion. Now it's time for him to rise to the occasion because he's against his team that let him go, didn't say he's good enough. Odegaard's got a big opportunity tonight to sort of prove Real Madrid wrong. I think prove a lot of doubters wrong. So he's very technically gifted, very good player. He doesn't really step as I don't see him as a captain, but I think he needs to start showing it in these games. And if he starts showing it in these games, I think he will start getting the respect he deserves, if I'm honest. I think Declan Rice is the one tonight that will be the one that, if anyone's going to get man of the match, I think Declan Rice has a huge match for him tonight. I'm going to predict an Arsenal win tonight. Over the both legs, I think Real Madrid will beat them back at Bernabeu. Again, I think it'll go to extra time. I think this one goes to penalties in the second leg. And I'll let you guys in the comments to decide who wins those penalties. But I think Arsenal Real Madrid in the Champions League will go to penalties in the second leg. I think Arsenal win tonight. I think Real Madrid win at home as well. I think the aggregate score will be the same, and it will go to penalties throughout after extra time. That is my prediction. Let me know in the chat who you think might go through in the penalties. And let me know in the chat if you think anything different. You probably all think Real Madrid are going to win. I know football, and I've watched football. I've watched these teams for a long time. And Real Madrid are beatable. And they've not been great this season. Bits in the league, they're starting to improve a little bit. Real Betis beat them the other week. Valencia beat them at the weekend at Bernabeu. They didn't really do well in the group stage. Arsenal did. Let's not forget this. Arsenal did very well in the group stage, beating PSG on the way. So let's not ever forget how good Arsenal have been this season, despite their drop-off in the league. So it's going to be certainly an eventful week of Champions League football, and next week as well. But it's all going to be for a hate watch from me because I don't want to see us out of this competition. But it's like I said, it's certainly nice to watch it from a neutral point of view whilst we are going to win our 20th league title. Thank you for watching. Make sure you do like this video, smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe, do everything you can to help us grow bigger as a channel. Thank you for watching. Have a great week, guys. Have a great night.